Once you hit a certain age, you become permanently unimpressed by a lot of stuff. Thank you guys for listening in. I really appreciate you guys joining our next episode of Unapologetically Unscripted. We really are excited to have you here, and we have a whole plethora of items to run through and talk about and discuss. The quote this week, I really feel like hit home for me when I saw it. I mentioned that I was moving, selling my house, and all of these kinds of things going on amongst being an entrepreneur, a new grandmother of almost 5 children, and all of those other things. So what I really want to talk about today is my next adventure. The quotes that I read to you guys at the beginning of the episode talked about being permanently unimpressed by a lot of things. So I kind of want to dive into that and talk to you guys about that a little bit today, and talk about, what does that mean, and what does that look like, and what am I talking about? So, again, I'm Monica Morgan. Thank you for listening in. I am about to turn 50 in June. You guys will hear me talk about a lot because I'm really trying to embrace it. And also, I mentioned where we listed our house. It sold at full asking price in under 48 hours, which is amazing, but crazy and scary all at the same time. My husband, who I've mentioned before, is Danny Morgan, and we are about to embark on an adventure that is going to take this show on the road. So we're super pumped about that and being able to share those experiences with each of you. And so it won't be unusual for you guys to hear from me in a different city or location from time to time. So this week I'm coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm here working with a client and super pumped. This is my old stomping grounds. But back to the topic at hand, which is the move. We have today's the 6th. So happy post Cinco de Mayo. Hope you all are doing well. And we have 14 days till closing. So I'm out of town working. We're trying to sell everything we own because we are permanently unimpressed by a lot of things. We spent a lot of our lifetime and career building up, working up the corporate ladder. And when I took that leap, as I mentioned in prior episodes, off into the entrepreneurship land, my view on a lot of things changed. And what was important at one point in my time in my life was no longer important. And so with that being said, Danny and I have gone through the process scarily of selling everything we own. And that is 50% excitement and 50% scary because we worked so hard to build and have all of the things that we had and to have a nice home. And so to get rid of all of it and buy an RV and live a nomadic life, so to speak, is so exciting because there is so much of America that we have yet to see. And we can't wait to get out on the road and share some of the things and experiences and places that we get to be. And at this point in our lives, for us, life isn't about things. Life is about experiences and relationships and the things that are important. And so we really spend a lot of time taking a good long look at our life. And, we have a beautiful 4,000 square foot home for 2 people, and we have a slingshot to ride on the weekends as a joyride. We have a lot of items, but those things were no longer bringing us joy, especially as we moved into grandparenthood, and so that was a pleasant surprise. Like I knew we would be excited and I knew that we would be enamored with grandchildren. I had no idea how much things change when you have those new little ones in your life that are really important. And so for us, one of our daughters is in Arkansas, one of our daughters is now in Tennessee. And it just makes a lot of sense for us. I travel for work. I can work remotely from anywhere. And so we want to be able to be the grandparents that pick our kids up in the summer and take them on a trip that they might not otherwise get to go on. We want to be the grandparents that get to come into town and go have lunch at school with the kids and things like that. And so we really are investing in our relationships with our family, our interpersonal relationships, and the relationships that we choose and want to have with our grandchildren is very specific. And so I thought that quote was really appropriate for this episode because it is about life changes and moving and all of those big things that come, in time and at different points in our lives. And we're all on different trajectories and have different goals. And so I think, some people might call it a midlife crisis, but I think that, it's really more about learning who you are, falling in love with that person, and knowing what you need and want out of life and what really is important. And that's some questions we had to ask ourselves during this time of trying to determine what we wanted to do. And, a lot of us have had struggles during COVID and had a lot of things that we had to work through or, adjust to, when in reality, what really matters. I want you all to stop and take a moment. If a takeaway from this episode is anything, stop and think. If you were to die tomorrow, what really matters today? What really drives you? What is most important to you? And, many of the women and people that I surround myself, men included, are very much workaholics, very career driven executives that really want, have goals for themselves. And they find that sense of achievement in their careers. And it's easy to throw yourself into your career and really not dial back and stop and think about what's most important. And for me, that was my family, my familial relationships. My kids are amazing and wonderful contributing members to society. And I'm so proud of them and so proud of, who they've become. And we're finally at a place with them turning 25 and 26 where they're launched on their own. They've started their own families, they're set in their careers. And so it was time for us to shed a lot of the things that we had holding us down and really embark on a new adventure. And so for us, our next chapter is starting, and we're super pumped and excited to share it with you guys as we go. And I think that there will be a ton of value in that. So, that's kind of a little bit about what's going on. I'm not sure of our first destination. We've been tossed up between RV selections. Do we want it big? Do we want it small? Is it our perfect home? We ended up deciding on a hybrid adventure where we couldn't get too long of an RV because it won't fit in the national parks. We can't get too short of one because it makes it real hard to live in that space when you come from a larger home. And then on top of that, you add in just your day-to-day items that you want, or the comfort of owning a home and having, a bed to sleep in and all of those things for sure. What we ended up doing was deciding on a smaller RV than we would have liked. And we decided to Airbnb it some. So I think that some hybrid of that, when we get to a city that we really love, that we want to hang out for a good 30 days or so, we decided we're going to Airbnb it and park our RV at a place that can be parked at, and have that home life too. So we're going to have a split adventure. So I can't wait to share with you some of the places we get to see, some of the things we get to do, and just the people we get to meet as a whole. So I'm really excited to share this adventure with you guys, and very much looking forward to filling you in on future episodes on where in the world are the Morgans. So thank you guys for joining and listening in again today. I really do appreciate you taking the time to see what's going on with the Morgans and what's going on at Unapologetically Unscripted, and with Monica Morgan in particularly. The next episode we'll be talking about the burning bra, and I'm super pumped to talk about that. I mentioned it briefly in a prior episode. That is our nonprofit for women, and we are looking forward to really launching this and creating a community or a tribe of women that is able to lend resources to one another. So tune in for the next episode if you would like more on that. Hey guys, if you like this episode, please hit like and subscribe.